It's cold out here this morning, very cold, but I've got a day where I've got to spend most of it in front of a screen or on the telephone, so this is so beautiful this morning that I wanted to get a time lapse. Check out this new selfie stick. How clever is that? Little tripod stand. Whether it's worth risking my iPhone 7 on that, I haven't decided yet, but I thought it was quite a little nifty idea. I'm not in a sauna. Today is, I'm spending most of the day with this. I've got loads and loads of admin to catch up on. It's approaching tax return time, and I'm also helping out a charity that I sometimes do a little bit of work for with a fundraising campaign for a refugee project that they're doing. So I'm kind of plugged into this. I am going to get some practice in a minute, and gosh, we're steaming up again. This is because I did those time lapses outside. It's now nearly lunchtime. I haven't moved for 4 hours. I've done 9 phone calls, hell of a lot of emails and bits and bobs. It feels good. I feel like I've achieved a lot. But I'm always conscious that my overarching goal, my strategy is to be a better musician. And the more time I spend doing this, I'm not making music. I experimented with you a little bit higher today. I hope that's okay. I've basically managed to get the GorillaPod stand doing the right thing, because if it goes flat, it tends to be a nightmare trying to get everything back in. Anyway. The most popular question I get asked either on YouTube or on my website or at gigs is a question I used to ask a lot myself, which is the title of today's vlog: what's your Reed Mouthpiece combination? I know why people ask it. A, it kind of identifies you maybe as a sax player yourself, which is great and it's really good. I'm really glad that saxophone players watch this vlog. If all you're concerned about though is playing the same Reed and Mouthpiece as your favourite player, you've really bitten into one of the biggest lies in the music business, or in fact any business, which is it's the gear that matters, not the person. You know, if only I could have Chris Potter's Mouthpiece. If only I had Branford's Reeds. If only I had Joshua Redman's ligature. That's what's getting in the way of me becoming a great saxophone player. Let me tell you, no it's not. It's this. And this is my practice. If you're not sure what I'm talking about here, check out this vlog. I'm now on my 74th day of continuous daily practice, and it has made a huge difference to my playing. And it has made a huge difference towards my attitude to playing. Don't get me wrong, gear is important, okay? We can all be gearheads, and it's important to have saxophone equipment that you enjoy playing. And as I said in the vlog the other day about the Yanni Alto, it's important that the instrument gets out of the way and you are allowed to get on and make music. But don't be obsessive about copying everybody else's setup. A few years ago I went to see one of my old teachers, Mike Horton, who taught me, gosh, about 11, 12 years ago when I first moved to London. Mike's an amazing session musician. In fact, he's one of the top session musicians in the UK. Mike and I were messing around with different setups, different mouthpieces, and just trying each other's gear out to see what happened. And I had my Ottolink Slant Sig, which is what I was playing right the way up till last July when I broke it. What's this vlog if you're not sure what I was talking about? Mike sounded terrible on it, but I got a great sound out of it. And one of Mike's Gardala mouthpieces that I tried, I just did not sound great on. Now Mike is about 5'8", 5'9", okay? I'm 6'3", and I'm a lot bigger guy than he is, so my head's bigger, the whole structure of my embouchure, the way I breathe is very different. Mike gets an amazing sound. I wish I could play like him. It's definitely the player, not the mouthpiece, and things that work for me may not work for you. In fact, physically, if you're different from me, they probably won't work for you. I mean, I'm playing really hard reeds, but I'm a big guy and I've got massive chops and I've been playing the saxophone for 25 years. So I'm going to be able to take a different reed size than you. So what works for me isn't going to work for you. What you need to find is a setup you're comfortable on. Now, I know there's all the great stories about Coltrane walking around with a bag full of mouthpieces and filing them down and changing them around. But that was John Coltrane. You're not John Coltrane, okay? You don't have his talent, his technique and everything else, or his circumstances and everything else like that. For all those stories of John Coltrane, you've got people like Joe Henderson, who just played the Selmer mouthpiece that came with his Mark VI because he thought that was the one that fitted. And he just stuck with it the whole time, until I think it got stolen. So there are guys who constantly chop and change setups. There's all this talk about Charlie Parker. Charlie Parker had to change his setup all the time because he was forever pawning saxophones for drugs. And a lot of the time other people's instruments as well. Don't take too much into what your favourite player's setup is, or anybody's setup. I would suggest, if you've got a question to ask a top musician, and this came from me from a number of top musicians, ask them what they're listening to right now. Ask them who they're listening to right now. Ask them if they've got any decent pieces that they would recommend you to. You know, who they're digging right now, who's playing well. They may go back. You know, as I asked Bramford in this one when I had lunch with him, I was talking about his soprano sound and just kind of confessing that, I just think Bramford's soprano sounds amazing. And he just said to me something he said to me before, but emphasised even more about how important listening to Sidney Bechet is. And I've got to confess, I haven't spent a lot of time listening to Sidney Bechet. So what I did, I went away and listened to an awful lot of Sidney Bechet. You know, it's not about setup, it's about listening. And also, Bramford also makes a point in a masterclass that even if you change your gear, you will end up sounding like you again. Because say you change to a much darker setup, say you go and buy a really dark Link and play, I don't know, like Concert Select classical reeds. The sound concept you have inside your head, your body will overcome whatever gear you've got, and after about 2 or 3 weeks you'll end up sounding like you again. So what you've got to do is change the perception of what you want to sound like. So if you want a darker sound, don't spend a lot of time trying to find the elusive perfect mouthpiece. Spend a lot of time listening to darker tone players. So if you want to have like a Ben Webster sound, spend a hell of a lot of time listening to Ben Webster. If you want to sound like Lester Young, listen to a lot of Lester Young, but also listen to people who came after Lester Young who were influenced by him. So Zoot Sims, oh gosh, my head's gone. Pete Chrisley. There's loads of different players you can sort of fathom. But the gear isn't the most important thing. It's about how you internalise and what you hear. With that in mind, I'm going to get on with my practice now.
A 1, 2.
Practice done, marking it off. Now it's time for lunch. I've just marked off, I worked out that I've miscounted my weeks, so today's like 84, 85 or something days of practice, so that makes the 25th of January will be my 100th day of continuous practice, and day 200 will be the 5th of May, day 300 will be the 13th of August. I've got to avoid the temptation to go to McDonald's. Right now I'm very tempted. Thank you very much. Post time. I'm rapidly going into post-lunch. No. So hopefully I'll get my second wind in a minute. New lens cap for the camera. I don't know where the other one's gone. Fits. I wanted a better jazz man's hat, so we'll see. Because I know I'm losing my hair. What do you think? It's Forshaw, F-O-R-S-H-A-W. Question is, will it work? Oh, that was good.